All right. So is Shedeur Sanders slamming that playbook down and storming out of Brown's facility was explosion. Then what comes next is a shockwave. Because you know how it goes in the NFL. Once a star rookie makes a power move, once a franchise becomes the center of a media firestorm, the rumors don't just start, they flood. And now, the floodgates are wide open. Let's set the stage. The Browns are reeling. Kevin Stefanski is still simmering, pacing through team meetings with short fuse. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Snapping at assistants, trying desperately to show that he still has the reins. The locker room is tense. Every glance, every side conversation feels like a loyalty test. And then, hovering over everything like a storm cloud, Shedeur Sanders. His locker is still there, untouched, like a shrine and a scar at the same time. His cleats still hanging, his jersey folded neatly. But the man himself? Gone. And that absence is louder than any presence. Because the NFL is already buzzing. Where's Shedeur going next? Within 24 hours of his walkout, insiders are tweeting cryptic nuggets. Hearing at least 3 teams monitoring the situation closely. Then the fan bases pounce. Falcons fans are chanting his name, photoshopping him in red and black. Saints fans are arguing he's a natural heir to Drew Brees. Raiders fans? Forget it. They're flooding his socials with black and silver hearts, screaming, Vegas is calling. And here's the delicious irony. The more the Browns try to keep things quiet, the louder the speculation gets. Jimmy Haslam releases a boilerplate statement about internal matters being handled privately, but no one's buying it. The Browns have no control of this narrative anymore. Shedeur does. Because let's be real, this wasn't a tantrum. This was chess. Shedeur knew exactly what he was doing when he walked out. He knew it would spark the rumor mill. He knew it would put pressure on ownership. He knew it would make him the story. And now he's sitting back, watching franchises line up like suitors, each one praying they'll be the chosen one. Meanwhile, the Browns are scrambling behind the scenes. Stefanski wants discipline. He wants fines, suspensions, a public statement to reassert control. But Haslam, he sees dollar signs. He knows Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand, a headline machine, a walking endorsement. Losing him outright would be catastrophic. Trading him? Even worse. Because every highlight he makes elsewhere would be a reminder of Cleveland's failure. But the leaks won't stop. An unnamed AFC exec tells a reporter, if Sanders is on the block, we're calling. NFC insiders are whispering about culture-fit teams. Franchises desperate for a face of the future. The chatter builds, and suddenly ESPN is running segments titled Top Landing Spots for Shedeur Sanders. Picture the panel. One analyst saying, Atlanta makes the most sense. Big market, Prime's legacy in the city. They need a quarterback who can excite fans. Another chiming in, don't sleep on New Orleans. That fan base lives for swagger, and Shedeur's got plenty. And then a wild card take. What about Miami? Tua's future is murky, and Sanders in South Beach? That's box office. And through it all, Cleveland is squirming. Stefanski is snapping at questions and pressers, muttering, we're focused on the players here. But no one's listening. Because the story isn't about the players in the building. It's about the one who walked out. The locker room fractures deepen. Some vets grumble. If I pull that stunt, I'd be cut tomorrow. Younger players shrug, saying, he's just doing what we all wish we could. It's not just a team anymore, it's factions. And in the NFL, a divided locker room is a dead locker room. Now, let's zoom in on Shedeur himself. While Cleveland spins, he's playing it cool, posting workout videos, dropping cryptic quotes like, respect is earned both ways or loyalty is a two-way street. Nothing direct, but just enough to keep the pot boiling. Every post racks up millions of views. Every word is dissected like scripture, and his silence toward the Browns? Deafening. Meanwhile, Deion Sanders is circling the wagons. You know Prime isn't going to let his son get dragged without jumping in. He's on TV, smiling, sunglasses on, saying things like, my boy knows his worth. He was raised not to settle. It's not just support, It's a warning, a reminder that Shedeur isn't alone. He's got prime time backing him, and that makes him a movement, not just a player. And this is where things get spicy. Trade rumors morph into trade packages. Analysts start speculating. The Falcons could send a first-round pick and a starting lineman. The Saints might offer draft capital and a defensive star. Vegas could put together the biggest deal just for the headlines. Every hour, the hypothetical deals get wilder, and every one of them makes Cleveland look weaker. Because here's the truth. No matter what the Browns do, they lose. Keep Shedeur, you've got a fractured relationship, and a rookie who doesn't trust the system. Trade him, you become the team that fumbled a generational talent before he even played a full season. Either way, the reputation damage is permanent. Fans know it too. The dog pound is split down the middle. Some are burning Sanders jerseys, screaming that he betrayed the city. Others are turning on Stefanski, calling for his firing, saying, "You don't run off of Sanders. Not in this league." The fan war is so intense it's bleeding into the stands of preseason games. Arguments, fights, even signs aimed at ownership reading, "Pick a side." The national spotlight? Blinding. This isn't just sports coverage anymore. It's cultural coverage. Talk shows are debating it. Business analysts are talking about brand empowerment. Former players are weighing in, half siding with Shedeur, half calling him entitled. And the NFL? They're nervous. Because if Shedeur pulls this off, if he forces his way out and lands in a better spot, it could spark a wave of rookies demanding control of their careers. The draft system itself could be in jeopardy. Now, let's hand out some fake awards for this stage of the drama. The Puppet Master award goes to Shedeur Sanders for turning silence and Instagram captions into the most powerful negotiating tools in football. The Titanic medal goes to the Cleveland Browns for steering straight into an iceberg they should have seen miles away. And the Primetime Playbook trophy goes to Deion Sanders, because every move here was rehearsed in that household years ago. So what's the moral at this stage of the saga? It's that the NFL is changing whether old-school coaches like Stefanski like it or not. Players aren't just cogs in the machine anymore. They're brands, their voices, their movements. And when a franchise fails to adapt, they don't just lose games. They lose stars. The Browns are at a crossroads now. Do they bend, bring Shedeur back with promises of respect and change? Do they dig in, risk a trade, and pray the return somehow justifies the humiliation? Or do they implode entirely, dragging everyone down with them? Because here's the reality. Every hour Shedeur stays away, his leverage grows. Every highlight from his college days, replayed on SportsCenter, makes him look more irreplaceable. And every mistake Cleveland makes in public makes them look like a franchise too fragile to handle modern stars. And the scariest part for Browns fans? Deep down, you know how this story usually ends in Cleveland. Not with triumph, not with redemption, but with heartbreak. And right now, Shedeur Sanders looks ready to be the next chapter in that cursed legacy, unless he writes a new story somewhere else. All right, so the whispers have turned into roars, the speculation into inevitability. Shedeur Sanders isn't just rumored to be leaving the Browns anymore. He's gone. Out. Done. And now the NFL world is bracing itself for the unveiling of his next chapter. Let's set the scene. Cleveland, broken and bitter, licking their wounds after fumbling yet another quarterback saga. The front office is silent, but silence in this league is louder than words. When a franchise stops talking, it's because they've lost a narrative. And in this case, Shedeur owns it. Every camera, every microphone, every spotlight, they're pointed squarely at him. Then comes the announcement. A tweet from Schefter. A breaking news cheering. That jarring ESPN siren. You can almost hear in your sleep. Shedeur Sanders has been traded. For words that ignite chaos across the sports world. Phones blow up. Fan bases melt down. Hashtags trend within seconds. And the Browns? They don't just lose a quarterback. They lose the future. The details roll out like dominoes. The package is wild. First-round picks, young talent, maybe even a star defender. It doesn't matter. Because no matter what Cleveland got back, the world sees one thing. They lost Shedeur. And in a league where quarterback is king, that's a death sentence. Now, picture the press conference. Shedeur walks in, suited up, looking like he's been preparing for this moment his entire life. Cameras flash. Reporters shout. Fans cheer outside, chanting his name before he's even played a snap. First off, he says calm but sharp, I want to thank everyone who believed in me. This is where I was meant to be. Boom. Instant chills. He's not just a player arriving to a team. He's a movement arriving to a city. And let's imagine where that city is. Maybe it's Atlanta. The story writes itself. Deion Sanders once brought swagger to the Falcons, and now his son is here to finish what was started. Prime legacy, reborn. The fans already wearing throwback jerseys with Sanders on the back, half Deion, half Shedeur, all destiny. Or maybe it's New Orleans. A franchise built on flair and resilience, welcoming a quarterback who thrives under the brightest lights. The dome is ready to explode with energy, and the city that never does subtlety has found its new poster boy. Or Vegas. Imagine Shedeur in black and silver, larger than life on billboards up and down the strip. The casinos cashing on the hype, the Raiders finally leaning into chaos they've always embodied. No matter the team, the vibe is the same. A rival, not just a quarterback, but of a cultural force. And while the new city celebrates, Cleveland burns. Browns fans are furious, heartbroken, numb. Dog-pound diehards who have lived through every cursed quarterback experiment, Manziel, Mayfield, Watson, are muttering, Of course we blew it again. Jerseys are being torched in driveways. Talk radio callers are demanding ownership sell the team. Stefanski's name is trending for all the wrong reasons. Because let's be clear, this wasn't just a trade. This was an indictment on Stefanski, on Haslam, on the entire culture of Cleveland football. The message is loud and simple. Stars don't want to stay. And the NFL? Oh, the NFL is giddy. Because nothing sells like drama, and Shedeur Sanders has become the league's biggest storyline. Training camp battles? Preseason matchups? Forget it. The only thing anyone cares about is Shedeur's first game with his new team. Schedulers are already flexing games into primetime. Broadcasters are salivating over ratings. Sponsors are cutting deals faster than Nike can print jerseys. Speaking of jerseys, those are gone within hours. Sold out. Every size. Every color. The new city's economy just got a jolt, courtesy of Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur? He's leaning into it perfectly. He's not defensive. He's not apologetic. He's confident, but not cocky. I'm here to work. I'm here to win. Every word lands like a thunderclap, because whether you love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. Now, let's talk about the Brown side of this mess. Because in a way, their downfall is almost Shakespearean. They had a star. They had the next big thing. And instead of nurturing him, respecting him, building around him, they broke him. Public call-outs, questionable decisions, lack of trust, and then the walkout. The moment everyone will remember, that playbook hitting the floor wasn't just the sound of paper. It was the sound of a franchise imploding. The locker room fallout is brutal. Veterans questioning leadership. Young players wondering if they're next. Trust is gone, and in the NFL, trust is everything. Without it, you don't have a team. You have a paycheck collection. And fans? They're starting to connect the dots. This isn't bad luck. This is culture. This is systemic. Cleveland isn't cursed. They're incompetent. And Shedeur Sanders just put a spotlight on it for the entire world to see. But while Cleveland sinks, Shedeur rises. His new team is rallying. Teammates are already gushing about his energy, his poise, his leadership. Coaches are designing plays around his strengths, scheming to unleash him week one. And the fans? They're already talking Super Bowl. It's irrational. It's premature. And it's exactly what makes football magical. Because here's the thing. Sports aren't just about stats. They're about stories. And Shedeur's story, walking away from dysfunction, betting on himself, and landing in a better spot, is the kind of story that inspires. It's the kind of story that sells tickets, moves merch, and cements legacies. Let's hand out some fake awards, because his drama deserves its own night at the ESPYs. The Great Escape award goes to Shedeur Sanders for pulling off the cleanest walkout since Barry Sanders retired mid-prime. The How to Lose a Franchise in 10 Days medal goes to Cleveland Browns for turning gold into dust faster than anyone thought possible. And the Prime Legacy Extended Edition trophy goes to Deion Sanders for raising a son who just bent an entire NFL franchise to his will. So what's the moral of the saga? It's that power in the NFL is shifting. No longer do franchises hold all the cards. Players with charisma, with brand power, with talent, they can move the needle themselves. They don't have to accept dysfunction. They don't have to settle. They can walk away, and the league will follow them. Shedeur Sanders didn't just change his career. He may have changed the league. Because the next time a rookie feels disrespected, the next time a star feels trapped, they'll look at what Shedeur did and think, why not me? And Cleveland? They'll still be trying to answer the question, how did we let him get away? All right, if the trade itself was a bombshell, then Shedeur Sanders' first game with his new team was a seismic aftershock. You could feel it in the air days before kickoff. The buildup wasn't just local, it was national, global even. ESPN couldn't stop running countdown clocks. Sports talk radio across every market, Cleveland, New Orleans, Atlanta, Vegas, was frothing with takes. Some were predicting disaster, saying the rookie had bitten off more than he could chew. Others were calling it the dawn of a new era, a generational torch passing before our very eyes. And then, finally, the night arrived. Picture it. The stadium is packed, fans buzzing like they're at a rock concert, not a football game. The camera cuts to Shedeur in warm-ups, calm, poised, headphones on, rocking his signature drip. He's not just a quarterback. He's a cultural event. Every step he takes is documented. Every throw he makes in warm-ups replayed like it's already history. The opposing team's fans, they're booing, but you can hear the nerves in it. Because deep down, they know this isn't just another rookie. The opening kickoff booms through the air, and the roar shakes the stadium. Shedeur jogs onto the field, offense huddling around him, his jersey glistening under the lights. The cameras zoom in close, and you can almost hear the collective thought across millions of living rooms. Here it is, the moment. First snap. Shedeur takes it, drops back, surveys the field. It's quick, efficient, a dart to his receiver for a crisp 8 yards. Nothing flashy, but everything symbolic. He's in rhythm. He belongs. The crowd erupts, not because it was a big play, but because it was the first play, the beginning of something. By the second drive, you can feel the electricity building. He's threading needles, commanding the huddle, moving defenders with his eyes like he's been doing this for a decade. And then it happens. Midway through the first quarter, 3rd and long, Shedeur drops back, the pocket collapsing, defenders crashing in. For a split second, it looks like a sack. But Sanders rolls out, resets his feet, and launches a bomb downfield. The receiver hauls it in, toe-tapping at the sideline. First down. The stadium doesn't just cheer. It erupts. People are hugging strangers. Beer is flying through the air. And in that moment, the narrative flips. He's not just the rookie who walked out on Cleveland. He's a guy. But let's not pretend it was all smooth sailing. Because the NFL is cruel, and rookies always get tested. Midway through the second quarter, Shedeur throws a pick, tries to squeeze one into tight coverage, and the safety jumps it. Crowd groans. The opposing fans jeer. Social media lights up. Same old story. Overhyped kid. Welcome to the NFL. But here's where Shedeur proves he's different. He doesn't sulk, doesn't point fingers. He marches to the sideline, grabs a tablet, and starts studying. Cool, calm, focused. And when he gets the ball back, he answers with a flawless drive. Quick passes, smart decisions, capped with a touchdown strike that silences every critic who thought the game would break him. Halftime rolls around, and the broadcast is in full frenzy. The commentators can't stop gushing about his poise, his command, his presence. This isn't just a debut, one says. This feels like coronation. And back in Cleveland? Oh, it's misery. Browns fans are glued to their TVs, watching the quarterback who should have been their savior lighting it up in another uniform. Twitter is ruthless. Memes of Kevin Stefanski watching the game with tears in his eyes, Browns logos photoshopped onto trash cans, fans screaming, "How do we let this happen?" The second half is where Shedeur takes over completely. He starts carving up the defense, reading blitzes, hitting receivers in stride. Every drive feels inevitable, every throw a statement. By the fourth quarter, he's got the stadium in the palm of his hand. Fans are chanting his name. Shedeur, Shedeur, like he's already a franchise legend. Final drive of the night. His team's up by a score, but instead of playing conservative, they put the ball in Shedeur's hands. He drops back, sees pressure, spins out of it, and takes off. 20 yards downfield, sliding just before the hit. The crowd goes nuclear. It's not just the play, it's the swagger, the guts, the ownership of the moment. The clock hits 0, and the stadium explodes. His teammates mob him, lifting him on their shoulders. Reporters flood the field. The headline is already written before the post-game presser even begins. Shedeur Sanders arrives. The stat line? Impressive. 300-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a handful of highlight plays. But the numbers aren't what matter. It's the feeling, the vibe, the sense that the league just witnessed the beginning of something special. Let's talk about the fallout. In his new city, Shedeur is already a hero. Jerseys sell out overnight. Billboards light up downtown with his face. Local media dubs him the franchise. Kids are out in backyards pretending to be Shedeur Sanders, launching passes into the night sky. He's not just a quarterback. He's a symbol of hope, swagger, and rebirth. In Cleveland, it's despair. Stefanski is grilled in pressers, looking haggard, muttering about moving forward. Fans are calling for his head. Ownership is in panic mode. And the players left behind? They're demoralized. Every highlight of Shedeur is salt in the wound, a reminder what they had and let slip away. The national media, they're eating it up. Every show, every podcast, every column is about Shedeur. Some are praising his resilience. Others are questioning Cleveland's competence. Everyone agrees on one thing. The NFL has a new face, and it's Shedeur Sanders. And here's where it gets poetic. Remember that playbook he slammed down in Cleveland? The sound of it hitting the floor echoed like a death knell for the Browns' culture. But here, in his new city, it's like he picked up a new book entirely. A blank one. And with every throw, every run, every win, he's writing a story that could one day be legendary. Let's hand out some fake awards, because this night deserves a trophy case. The crowning moment. Award goes to Shedeur Sanders for turning a debut into a decoration. The Phantom Pain medal goes to the Cleveland Browns for suffering the agony of watching their ex-quarterback thrive elsewhere. And the Primetime Legacy Extended Cut trophy goes, once again, to Deion Sanders for raising a son who not only plays the game but understands the stage, the story, the spectacle of it all.